Hey guys, so in my last video I shared what I'm doing with my 5th and 8th grader throughout the summer as we kind of switch to a little bit more of a Charlotte Mason schedule method, etc. And so today I wanted to come on and share a little bit of what I'm doing with my 3-year-old and 5-year-old. They, by the end of the summer, beginning of the fall, will be 4 and 6. So a few things to note. My 5-year-old is actually enrolled in traditional kindergarten this year because we foster, that's what we had to do. And it's been a little bit of an experiment in some ways. Partly also like because he was enrolled in school, I kind of just saw it as like, I guess I don't really have to do much. And let me just say that probably wasn't the best way to go about it. A few of my kids definitely have or will have some kind of learning delays of sorts. And I probably could have spent some more time with him this year. But my plan for the summer is to do a bit of catch up. So while he is getting close to the grade 1 age, we're definitely doing like kindergarten work for the summer so that hopefully by the fall he'll be ready for grade 1. Whether that is traditionally or if I'm allowed to homeschool him, the jury's still out on that. But either way, I want him to be a little farther ahead than he is now. I close my door when I film, and every time my cat either wants to get in or out. Do you want to go out? So while I have created a like 12-week plan that I plan on dragging out a bit, will probably take 16-ish weeks. That was my plan with my older two. With the younger two, like I'm a few weeks in with the older two, but with the younger ones, I'm not very far in because we've just been distracted with, you know, actually going to school and other life things that are going on. But this is my plan for the summer. Some of it we've started, some of it we haven't. So the first thing I want to do with both of the littles together is read through the Biggest Story Bible storybook. This is like the longest title. I took off the dust jacket because kids in dust jackets don't really work out, but it is a very colorful Bible. I shared it in my book haul fairly recently. Different kind of art style, but like lots of color. So they also, I haven't actually checked to see if it's exactly the same, but they've been putting videos on YouTube, which I'm assuming are the chapters. Ooh, that's a cool page. I love the animals going 2x2 page. So we're going to be doing this together, and then any of the older kids that want to listen in, they're more than welcome to as well. This is going to be like our together time. And then we'll kind of dive into preschool. So I created a preschool like little curriculum thing a couple years ago, and the focus for the curriculum, that's very loose. It's very literature based. The idea is every week you have one story you read multiple times throughout the week. I give a couple of different activity ideas that you can do throughout the week. There's a memory verse for each 4 weeks, as well as a nursery rhyme to learn and have fun. And so I have been doing that with the preschooler. So I made a book list of some of my favorite picture books that don't bother me to read again and again. We own some books that I'm like, okay, I can read this like once a month or once every other month, but I made a fun list that just like a lot of books with good like rhythm and rhyme, because I appreciate that, and just books that I enjoy. So there's 28 weeks in the preschool, I don't like the word curriculum, but I don't know what else to say, and each week is a different book. The curriculum is available on my shop or my membership. So some of the books we're doing are like Green Eggs and Ham. This one was fun. We made green eggs after this. Have Fun, Molly Lou Melon is one that will be coming up. This one encourages creativity a lot. Another one that's really good for imagination is Rainy Day Magic. This was probably my favorite picture book from childhood. Really good rhythm and rhyme. Had it all memorized, probably could recite the entire thing still. And The Paper Dolls by Julia Donaldson. She also wrote The Gruffalo. We also did the Gruffalo as well. Lots of fun activities. I've given between 2 and 4 different activities for each book, hoping that people don't feel like they have to do all the activities. But if you're really loving a book, then maybe you can. So that's our main focus for that. And then the verse that we're memorizing, the 5-year-old is going to memorize along with us. And then there will be other things that we do throughout the days that are not like part of the school kind of thing. Like one of the things that my 5-year-old is doing right now upstairs is some of these Usborne Wipe Clean books. He's currently doing the dinosaur activities book. This is really great for like fine motor skills. There's lots of tracing and dot to dot, tracing numbers. Somebody didn't erase theirs here. Yeah, so just stuff like this, you know, coloring, cutting, gluing, lots of that going on in the background, drawing. I didn't feel like I needed to include that because the younger years, preschool, kindergarten, often do that on their own. But now getting into kindergarten, in my last video I mentioned how I would like to create kind of like Charlotte Mason outlines for each grade, and I still really want to, and I'm working on it, but I realized in order to do it well, I need all the books that I'm going to recommend so I can put them into the schedule, you know, this chapter, this week, etc. And I'm in the process of packing up all my books, so I can't really do that right now. But I am working on creating the list of all the books that will be included in each grade. I'm going to be kind of doing like a little bit of a rough draft of the curriculum idea, sharing that with my members. I'll leave the link for my membership below. Kind of as I do each grade, I'll have that available. And then when I can move and get settled and pull out my books, then I can make like the actual schedule, the overview, the weekly schedule, etc. So if you guys are interested in that, either join the membership or wait, because it will be coming at some point, but I don't know when the full thing will be ready, and I won't release like just the book list until I have the full thing because some changes might take place. Okay, and now for my kindergartner, like I said, we have a few things that we need to work on. For kindergarten, generally my main goals, and this does depend where the child falls. My first 2 kids, I started using the Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons when they turned 4. I think that worked well for my oldest. My second, I wish I would have waited longer. And I think I'm going to use that book in the future, but I don't have it right now. So maybe when my current 5-year-old turns 6, maybe we'll do that then. So that's not a goal for my kindergarten year. For kindergarten, I want my kids to know, to be able to count up to 100 and hopefully recognize the numbers, but I feel like I've been working with a lot of like learning delays, so I'm a little loose, you know, like as long as I'm seeing growth, I would love for the kids to know each letter of the alphabet. Bonus points if they can like know the sounds. Bonus points if they can be reading. Like, you need to know your child. And then things like learning basic patterns and the days of the week and the months of the year and that kind of stuff. Those are my goals, but like my bigger goal that I really want for kindergarten is for kids to love stories. It doesn't mean they have to love reading, they don't have to love writing. I want them to love stories. At the age of kindergarten, they are able to sit and listen to higher level stories than they're able to read, and this lasts for a few years for sure. And so my big goal for kindergarten is just to do lots of reading. And I know Charlotte Mason says like don't do school until kids are 6, and I get it, but I've had kids that just want to do school at the age of 4 or 5, and then I have kids that just need some extra help so that by the time they are 6, they will be ready for stuff. So the main focus this summer is lots of good stories. I can't remember if I shared this in my book haul or not. I got the Get Ready for the Code book A. So they have A, B, and C that are primers for Explode the Code. We've never done Explode the Code, but I've heard good things. And so I thought, well, why don't we just start with A? We'll go from there. So far we have done the first couple pages, which were just like which of these pictures is different than the other. Trace the letter F. Follow the path from F to the picture whose name begins with that sound. So I'm personally not convinced yet. I mean, we've done 3 pages. It seems kind of just like every other like kindergarten workbook for the most part, but we'll see. I feel like it should be something special because a lot of people talk about Explode the Code. So we're working on this. I'm also going to be doing handwriting without tears for him. I think I did that with my second oldest, and I think it will work really well for him as well. So I have some pages printed for that. And then into stories. So like I said, they can listen to books that are obviously above their reading level. My 5-year-old's not reading yet. So one of the books that we are doing this summer is The Mouse and the Motorcycle. And now I've got a decent stack of books here for a 5-year-old. I can't read every book out loud to him. My voice just won't last that long. I'm also doing some reading with the other kids. So for this book, I got the audio collection from Audible. If you are going to buy this book on Audible, they also have all 3 books in the series. So The Mouse on the Motorcycle, Runaway Ralph, Ralph S. Mouse. Not sure if that's exact order or not. They have them as like one audiobook on Audible. It's a much better deal, especially if you have a credit. Either this book is 1 credit or the whole collection is 1 credit. So that's what I did. And so he's been playing Lego or Cars and listening to a little bit of the book. So I think that's been good. My first book that I usually read out loud to my kids when they're like 4 or 5 is Charlotte's Web. So a little bit later this summer, we're going to be starting this one. I have always really enjoyed reading this book out loud, even in the years when I was not a big reader. Like I was a big reader, but like not reading out loud kind of reader. I still loved reading this one to them. A fun book that has some other ones if you need more to read is Mrs. Pigglewiggle. Oh, we have laughed over this book when we were reading it years ago. So Mrs. Pigglewiggle is a strange lady. She lives in like an upside down house, but the kids love her, and she does things like she helps parents fix kids. Like if there is, so every chapter is a different cure. So there's the won't pick up toys cure. She helps a kid who won't pick up their toys. The answer backer cure. The selfishness cure. The radish cure. The never want to go to bedder cure. The slow eater tiny bite taker cure. So there's a cure for everything. So this is a short and quick read with quite a few pictures. There's her upside down chandelier in her house. Yeah. And so there's Mrs. Pigglewiggle. There's Mrs. Pigglewiggle's Magic. And there's at least one more. Mrs. Pigglewiggle's Farm. Yeah. So they're a lot of fun. Then I am doing something out of the norm for me. I am reading Winnie the Pooh. I have not historically loved the books, but I decided to give it a go. And so we are reading Winnie the Pooh this summer. And then once we finish this, we're going to be reading The House at Pooh Corner. So I don't think these need any explanation. They're pretty straightforward. I feel like everyone has loved them but me. So hopefully I will learn to fall in love with them this summer. And then lastly, we are doing some poetry. I have A Child's Garden of Verses by Robert Louis Stevenson, and he's got some fun poems. I have other poetry books too, but we're going to be reading a couple poems from here each week, or a poem a day or something. So that's what we're going to be doing for poetry. So I didn't mention math at all, really, and that is because my 5-year-old is obsessed with numbers and all things math. Like, we are talking about numbers all day long. Like, when I came down to film, he asked if he could get the measuring tape out and measure things. Like, measuring, counting, the weather. Like, he is just constantly talking about numbers. So I didn't feel like we needed to do anything. Every now and then I'll ask him a question like, what's this plus this? And, you know, push him in his math skills a bit. But yeah, we talk about math a little too much for my liking, but it's okay. He's really loving it. Yeah, and then obviously there's other subjects I didn't talk about, but my big goal for this summer is to get him to love reading, love stories, I mean, so that's what we're gonna be working on. So that is my plan for the preschooler and the kindergartner this summer. We'll do a little bit over the next couple weeks, and then once we move and we're a little bit more settled, I think we'll be more full-blown into this. I hope this helps you guys, and if you are interested in getting like a first glance at what I'm doing for the Charlotte Mason type-esque, loosely Charlotte Mason curriculum thing, go ahead and join my membership because you'll get a sneak peek and like the first info there. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I would love to hear what you guys are doing this summer.